Hey y'all. Hey, I don't know who's watching. Y'all see my topic? Hey, I'm hoping somebody comes on. Hey, Genshin Inch. Hello. Hey. I hope a lot of people come on. We're talking about some USDA home loans and farm loans. Farm? What y'all talking about? Farm? What you talking about? Farm? Farm loans. And grants, farm loans and grants. Why would I be talking about farm loans and grants? Like, who would think about farm loans and grants? Like, why would anybody be interested in farming? Y'all, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't be. In fact, I don't know nothing about farming. But what happened was, I had been interested in farming and I wanted to get into farming. And I started looking into it because one of my followers was pushing me about farming. Y'all, I started getting into it. So right now I'm taking farm management classes because I don't have a green thumb. Do y'all know about USDA home loans and grants? I mean, USDA rural development loans and grants for farming. If you have a green thumb and you're interested in farming or next generation farming, there is actually funding and loans for farming. If you are not following me yet, go ahead and follow me. I am going to share my process. I won't share my whole vision because that's my vision. I have a tendency to look at programs and opportunities that are available. I share them with people all the time. So I am sharing this one. USDA, yes, they have 0% financing, 0% down, 100% financing home loans. But y'all, the farm thing is off the chain because the farm management program that they have for you to be a farm manager. Now think of that. Think of like a business manager being a farm manager. You don't have to live on the farm. You don't have to be 100% on the farm all the time. But this is a business. If you have a green thumb, if you've been gardening, the U.S. government is actually trying to get people to consider becoming small farmers. Y'all. And I'm talking about small farmers, like there is no cap on the amount of land that you can get, but they are giving like 1% interest loans, 1%, for you to make money off of farming for the next generation of farmers. So you can be, your concept might be that you are interested in farming, want to do farm management and want to get younger people in on starting to farm. Please make sure y'all like and follow. Go to my page and follow. Share that I'm on, because I promise y'all, I always make sure I share information with people. But this one, I'm trying to set up my computer now. I'm setting up my computer now because I want y'all to see. When I share information, I don't share pipe dreams. I share information that is functionally able to be used right now, today. Okay, and you don't live on a farm, but you live in a barn. Well, guess what? I don't know how much land you got, but this program is really good because this program not only gives you the funding to start a farm, but also gives you the funding to have housing for your farm laborers. What? Multi-family housing for your farm laborers. What is that? Y'all, my God. And, oh my God, you don't even have to have farming experience to do this program. Okay? I got to tell y'all about this. So now y'all thinking USDA rural development, how to get connected. Y'all, please make sure y'all follow. First of all, if you don't know how to like on TikTok, you ain't doing nothing but tapping the screen. I have killed my fingers tapping people's pages who I follow just because I try to make sure that I support people. So if you don't want to send no gifts, I ain't asking you, just please at least tap, like, and share. Because the more you like, the more people that TikTok will make sure gets this knows that I'm on. Y'all, I want to, let me tell y'all, Please make sure y'all tell people that I'm on. I'm trying to sit on my computer because I want to show y'all. I'm not exaggerating. If I have 10,000 followers, if you go to my page, you'll see I'm always sharing information. That's just what I do. Y'all, if you're familiar with my name is Pastor Cheryl, and my ministry is just to share. I don't have a lot of collaborators. I do have some projects and things that I work on, and in different ways that I find ways to ensure that I get support funding for the things that I do or things that I enjoy doing. But this is something that I do as a ministry where I just help people and help families gain access to resources and information. This farming thing, you may not have thought about it. If you have thought anything about, like, what can I do for the future generation? What can I do to make a difference in this country for the sake of, maybe you're thinking about clean energy, or maybe having gone through COVID made you think about the cost of produce and what they putting on stuff. Maybe, like, is this stuff really clean? What is going on with what they putting in stores? Who's handling the things that we're actually consuming? How is it being handled? What am I putting in my body? Or maybe you thought about being a little bit more healthy. Look at me with the double chin. I'm thinking about getting more healthy. I actually walk 3 to 4 miles a day now. During COVID, I was doing maybe 14 to 2,000 steps a day. I'm now at 14,000 to 18,000 steps a day. So I'm thinking about ways that I can do better for my life. That was just the tip of the iceberg when I found out about this farming. I'm going to get into it. I don't want to give away too much because I know I'm trying to get some people to get on here. And I see it's about 7 people. That's the number that's up there, but it's usually way more people that's actually watching. So please make sure y'all tell people that I'm on here talking. Make sure you share and follow my page. And no, I'm not just trying to get followers. Like I said, I have 10,000 followers, and I share information with people all the time. So whether you follow my page or not, I'm going to share information. I'm trying to get my computer together so I can show y'all some stuff. Because like I said, I like to prove stuff out. But this USDA farming thing, okay. So I always, like, my little brother came here. Hey, Bree got dimples. Hey, Bree got dimples. I like your name. But please, y'all, make sure y'all share, because I want people to know, is this a loan or grant funding? Okay, don't be afraid of the loan. It's a 1% interest loan. And if you're going to be farming for the purpose of making money, you're not going to have a problem paying the money back. And it is a direct USDA loan, so it's a government loan. You borrowing from the government. And let me tell y'all, when you do the USDA loans from the federal government, it is not like loans that you get from banks. They don't want what you got. That is a big difference. People in rural areas, now I'm talking, look, don't be afraid of rural. First of all, let me educate you guys on rural. Rural does not necessarily mean you're going to be living out in Timbuktu. Rural is based on the population of people that live in that community. And some rural communities are rural because they were accepted as USDA rural communities and they were grandfathered in. So now the population of the community is still small, but this more densely populated, or the houses are closer together, or they're less rural-like, because they have developed it more over the years, okay? And sometimes there are some areas that may be close to you that are no longer considered rural, but maybe yours still is. So don't let that create fear in you. Also, USDA rural areas are all over the country. Every state has rural communities. And these communities are not as far from urban communities or suburban communities as you might think. For instance, I live in a suburban community that is 12 minutes from Montgomery, Alabama, which is a urban community in Alabama. I live 12 minutes from Montgomery. Now, Montgomery also has USDA home loans, so that's not the best example. But there are plenty of larger cities in Alabama that do not qualify for USDA mortgages because the city is just too large, so they go by the number of people in the city, also the income. So the income levels of the city has to have some of the population that's below a certain income level, but it's pretty much based on the number of people in the community and how far out it is. And again, like my area is grandfathered in, but like 5 minutes away from me is more populated, and so that area is not considered a USDA area, but we have all the amenities of a regular suburb. So my city is considered a suburb, but the loans that are available are still USDA loans that are available. So rural development loans are available. Okay, that being said, so when I say rural areas, if you don't want to live all the way out in the country, you don't have to. But if you do, you can. And they are all over the country. Now, I'm going to give you an example. My little brother just came and visited me. Little brother, I'm 50. He's in his 40s. Young, I think he's 41 or 42. And I'm 51. I'll be 52 this month. And he came to visit. So finally, I've been down here for 7 years, and we didn't get our house until about 3 years ago. So he came to visit, and he saw where we were living, and he was like, right now, y'all, I'm in a hotel because I also work on a federal study, and I work around the state of Alabama. And then once I finish my own area, this is my area, Southern Alabama, then I do the state, and after I do the state of Alabama, I do other states that's near me, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, different other states. So right now I'm traveling. So I'm at a hotel, and so my computer is not set up, and I'm trying to set it up while I'm talking to y'all. But anyway, so he came here I'm originally from Chicago. I'm a city girl. So I didn't know nothing about all this rural stuff. I'm a researcher though. So if you look at my page, you'll see CC Corner Chat. You look at my page, you'll see where I do a lot of research, and I share information. I make sure it's current, and I make sure that what I tell you, I've researched, and I can give you factual resources. Hello, Artie. Make sure I'm not missing. Does USDA farming land loans cover equipment too? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get my computer set up. It covers equipments. Let me tell y'all. So when the USDA farm loans especially for next generation farmers, that's what I'm trying to tell you about. If you don't know nothing about Mississippi, baby, yes, everywhere all over the country. If you don't know anything about these loans, they're 1% interest loans. And they give you the loans, and they have the next generation loans to help you be able to start your new farm. But what's interesting about it is there is another loan. So these loans you can get more than one loan, and you can kind of complement each other. So what I was looking for was I wanted to do a farm, but then I also wanted to do some multi-family housing. Because I was interested in doing Section 8 housing or something like that, low income housing. And I didn't want to do just regular low income housing because I've done that before, and I was a little turned off about it, I'm going to be honest. So I wanted to do low income housing for people who does the USDA farming loans cover equipment? Yes, it covers equipment. I wanted to do low income housing for people who had jobs. So 130%. Just like right at 100, just under 130% above the poverty level. So for the working poor, that's who I wanted to do. That population. I've done investment property, and I've rented out to people who've had low income. And it's not that I would not do that again. It's just that I've been there, done that. I've contributed to society in that way, and I just did not want to do straight out no income population again. That it was a hard knock for me. We're looking to buy land for a farm in the next few months. Boom. You're going to want to hear this. Hey, Carmelo Mason. So that's a pastor at our church. Pastor, are you a pastor? I think you're a pastor or an elder. But nonetheless, so I have done investment properties in Chicago where we had low income people. We did Section 8, which we did. Oh, no, he's not a pastor, but he's definitely a man of God from our church. And so we did that. But so now I'm in the South and I learned about these rural development loans. And so I learned about USDA loans. So I wanted to do multifamily housing because I knew that there's still a deficit of homes for low income people, especially the working poor. So I said, okay, that's who I want to support now. That's my focus on. That's what I want to do, and kind of talk to my family about it. And just to let you guys know, my family, we started, y'all. Okay, I got all these people watching. I want y'all to be hitting that like. I got 146 likes and this many people watching. Tap the screen. Don't just listen to me. Tap, 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 tap. That's all you gotta do is tap your screen. Just tap, please tap. So my family started businesses. So my family decided that every business that we start, we're going to do together. So we have multiple family businesses. And so I have 5 sons. 4 of them are in college and I have a 30-year-old. So we just do everything. We're in the South. I'm in Chicago thinking about moving down south. We live in Alabama. So it's a lot going on down here. But anyway, so my family, we just said, okay, we're going to get together. Every business that we start, we're going to do this together. So what we started first on, because I did credit education, I ran a nonprofit in Chicago from 2004 to 2011, and I taught credit education. And so if you guys are familiar with Chicago, it was on 83rd right off of Ashland, S&C Financial Credit Resolutions Group. And that's what I taught. I taught credit. And I ran, I was vice chairman of a business organization, which was the Black Wall Street. And we helped businesses get established and help maintain minority businesses. So that's what we did. And that's what I did. And I sat on an economic advisory committees for different state and city councils. That's what I did also. So I was on economic advisory councils for different government agencies. And I did grant reviews and grant writing. So it's so much that I was involved in with economic development. I finally said, when we moved to Alabama, I wasn't going to get involved with anything, but you know how stuff start inching at you, and you know what you know, and you see opportunity. This USDA thing came my way, and I started off telling y'all about how my little brother came from Chicago to visit, and he saw our home. We just live on an acre of land. We're not even using a whole acre. We use about a half of our acre, and we have a bunch of, the other half is trees and stuff. We just haven't developed it. It's just a lot for us. A half an acre is quite a big piece of land. And so anyway, I was telling him about these USDA loans because they're really low interest rate loans. So the USDA home loans is 0% down, 100% financing. We had a large family, so y'all, when there was a benefit to us having 5 sons. It was 7 of us, and 4 at the time for the mortgage. And so that large family afforded us the opportunity to be able to get a really good deal on a mortgage. But the farming, one of my followers was pushing me, Cheryl, tell me about the farming. Would you please tell me about the farming? And I said I was interested in farming. I didn't do a lot with it. I try to tell people what I know about. Y'all, I went on and started looking into the farming. And now I'm taking farm management classes. Okay, so the new thing is this next generation farming. Okay, I'm getting ready to finally plug on my computer. Because like I said, I'm in a hotel, so I have to work. And I've been focusing on working. And I do have to work tomorrow. So, but the next generation farming is that if you're looking it up already, USDA next generation, do your own research. It's easy, y'all. Just pull it up. But what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we don't have enough farmers. We got all this land and we don't have enough local farming. And doggone it, it's enough months in the year with warm weather for us to be farming in the United States. But who you gonna get to work on the farm? Okay, so you done had the people say you don't want people coming here from other countries to work on the farms. You're not gonna be able to pay my son to come work on your farm, because my son's not going to come work on your farm for the price that you want to pay for somebody to come work on the farm. That's not going to happen. It's hot, but it's more likely that you can possibly get people to start their own farms. And so what the federal government is doing is they're trying to get next generational farmers to start farming. So yes, these loans are 1% interest rate loans. And then, like I told y'all, if y'all started off with me at the beginning of this conversation, is they will give you a loan to go and create housing for your laborers and help them pay their rent, like Section 8. So they're not doing the Section 8 stuff no more. They doing the laborers. Y'all, can you? Now, you use your own creativity, because my creativity told me to start the farm and to create the housing for the people that's going to work on my farm. But I can't tell y'all what my farm going to look like, because the rest of that is my creativity. But I want to tell y'all how you get your farm started. Okay, so now if you want a business, keep in mind, now think outside the box. If you want to start the farm and you don't want to live on the farm, you don't have to live on the farm. You have to be able to manage the farm, right? And so this particular program wants you to have some farm experience. But if you don't have farm experience, then they want you to have 3 years worth of farm management experience. What if you don't have that? Then you can have 1 year of management experience, and they don't want you to just have on any management. They want you to run a business. So, like I told y'all, my family has a business where we run multiple businesses under our family name. And that means start your business today. I don't know what your business is going to be. Start your business doing something today. A real business where you can be doing something where you're managing all the expenses and the taxes and the income and the paperwork. Do all that. Okay, that's your business if you want to do this farm. Because this farm thing ain't going away, and it's not new. It's just something I decided to do. I'm so excited because I want to tell y'all about it. And I'm gonna do some TikToks on it. I'm gonna do some Facebook stuff on it, and I'm gonna let y'all know my progress. Okay? Because my son, my 30-year-old, he's gonna be 30 in May. His girlfriend, who's also going to school, she's going to school for human resources because she wants to be able to do our now, that has nothing to do with farm. We have businesses. And so she's also my executive assistant. So she's going to school managing business. That's right. She's going to school for human resources, and she's going to be doing the talent training. I forgot what it's called, but she's going to be training our people. So that's what she's going to school for. I have 3. Hello, what credit score do you need? All right. So yes. If you have issues with your credit, I'm not trying to promote that I'm helping people with credit, because it's not something I like to do anymore. It's cumbersome for me. I do know how to help people with credit, and I do that. So I will help people if they need help with that kind of stuff. The credit score, they do want you to have decent credit, but just hear me out. Decent credits to get the loan, but just hear me out. Just you could talk to them about that. They're encouraging these farmers, and if you thinking like outside the box, like I do, like I said, my family works together. So we built our credit together. All of us have credit scores above 700. We worked on building our credit together. So you get your credit, you make somebody authorized user, they get their credit built. And my kids, before they could even go to college, while they were in high school, they were authorized user on somebody's card. And then when they went to college and they got their own credit cards, they already had credit scores and they already had good credit. Everybody got good credit. And we make sure people's credit is paid up. Everybody's credit, you get your stuff paid up on time. I mean, that's something we just work on. So as far as you got to prepare for this anyway. So if you don't have if you don't have it under your belt already that you've been doing the farm management, you're going to want to get that under your belt anyway. So work on getting your credit. If you think your credit is an issue, the fact that you're asking what credit score do you need probably means you don't have really good credit. So you can work on your credit. You got time to work on your credit because you're going to be working on getting your farm management certification. How do you get that? They want you to have 3 years management experience as a farm manager. But wait, you can get a certification within 6 months because the different states have programs that you can take for online classes. And most of them are doing it at your time, at your own leisure, and the classes are free. Like for the state of Alabama, for instance, the state of Alabama did a state of Alabama collective with Auburn University of Montgomery to take the farm classes online for free. And the certification takes 6 months for you to complete. And that gives you your 2 years. That is going to knock out 2 years of your farm management class. And then the 1 year is 1 year of being either a manager, where you have to just, like, you can't just be managing people, you have to be managing a business. So it's like somebody made you a manager responsibility of management, or you managed your own business. Okay. So that's the 3 years that you need to be able to satisfy. That means you can satisfy the requirement of the loan as far as your management skills relatively quickly. Okay. In addition, my other component to that was, okay, I'm also going to get some college students in the agriculture program to be advisors to work with me. Now, I have kids that are in college, so 3 of my kids are in business, in college for business. 1 is marketing, 2 are money management, 1 is financial management, and the other one is, I recognize this picture of this lady right here with her head sideways, and I don't know her name, but I recognize her. And 1 is in school for, he wants to do, I forgot what it's called when you looking at your, it's something to do with your money management, but it's, I forgot what it's called. It's like your life insurance and all that kind of stuff. That's what he wants to do for wealthy people. And then my other son is an architect, but he's also doing environmental sustainability. And so he actually is creating the blueprint for my farm laborers' housing. Also, he's doing the blueprint for the farm, and I'm going to do a greenhouse too. So he's going to do the farm, and he's getting his architecture class together, and then he's going to get with his professor, his architecture professor, to get some other things together. So we're using the college students to help. All this is next generation farming. Okay, so if you're the USDA rural development has home loan financing, farm financing, and multifamily housing for your farm laborers. All this funding. And somebody asked me, is this loans or grants? They also have grants. Okay, so it's just different areas of funding, and you have to combine whatever it is you need to combine. Now, if you're talking about for a home loan, that's not a grant, obviously. Those are loans. And so for that program, for the home loan program, they do have some subsidizing for that depending on your income. So if it's a USDA home loan that you're trying to get and you need some funding to help make sure that you can afford the housing, they have money that they give you toward your mortgage payment to keep your payment low so that you can afford the payment if that's your circumstance and that's what you need. It just depends on which loan that you're going for. All this money is available through the USDA. Y'all, if you want land and you want property, don't squint your eye at don't disregard the fact that these opportunities are available in rural communities and they're not so far out. I'm trying to share with you guys this information because so many people are just like missing these opportunities and not affording themselves to think outside the box. What are you getting from living in the city? And if you're looking at possibly retiring, at least educate yourself on what's out there when you're ready to retire. You can be retiring to something really special as opposed to living the rat race of the city. You know what I'm saying? Because you're paying these high taxes and you can be really living in a clean air population with more land. And if you want access to Like I'm doing this thing now called Discover Alabama. If you go to my Facebook page, I got a couple of things on there now, and it's just in Montgomery, and where I just had a Venezuelan breakfast, and when we stopped at a brand new Italian restaurant, and it's authentic Italian food. And so I like to do cultural things. On April 1st, I'll be going to a Japanese cherry blossom fest in Birmingham. So I like hunting down diverse cultural experiences. I love it. And if you like that too, don't who tell me this. Who with money stays home? If you just think about the possibility of living in a rural community, having a nice sized family home, if you think that you possibly might want to do a small farm and they have farmers markets. That's the other thing. The USDA not only encourages you to start your small farm, they actually look for ways for you to sell your produce or your product. Okay. So like what I want to do is I want to do strawberries and blueberries and cucumbers and tomatoes and squash and, watermelons and some things that'll be able to be sold throughout the year. And I also want to open up a small farmers market store. So those are some things I want to do, but I'm not telling the full story of what my farm is going to look like yet, because I want to, I want to finish my vision first. And I think my farm is going to be unique. So I'll share it as I get to do it. But for instance, I know somebody a young man. I got to get him on some of I don't need to have him talk on my lives, but I like him to actually watch more about this farm and stuff. So I have to let his mom know, because I'm going to do some TikToks on it so he can watch. But he actually harvests insects for people to purchase to feed their animals, And so that is actually part of, our ecosystem. You're going from one insect to the next, and he actually has the little small bugs that help fertilize, that help create fertilizer for soil, and it's really good soil, And I told him, I was like, that's insect farming. And you can justify using this farm loan for insect farming. And he was like, I didn't think of that. I'm like, yeah, it's farming, animal farming, insect farming, vegetable farming, fruit, whatever. These are farms. You can have an insect farm. So he didn't think of that. But I think outside the box. So I'm always taking stuff and thinking outside the box. So my farming idea that I'm getting ready to tell y'all about, it's gonna blow y'all mind if you end up following my TikToks. But I always, yes, insect farming is big. And this is a young man. I'm like, baby, think smarter, not harder. And when I was telling him about it, he was like, well, give me the information now. I told him about it about 2 weeks ago. He has not reached out to me. I just said, okay, I'm going to keep doing the TikToks. I'm supposed to see them again because I'm going back to Chicago in a couple of weeks because my pastor is becoming a bishop. So I'm going to his induction ceremony. So I'll be in Chicago in a couple of weeks. And I said, I'm going to see if he reaches out to me. And then I'm going to go ahead and send him the information about the farming. But I wanted to give him information specifically for Chicago because, like I said, I always like to prove stuff out. I don't like to get people pumped up and then they're like, what you talking about? I can't find it. So I'm going to give him stuff specific for Chicago, which is why I was pulling on my computer in case somebody asked me about their state so I can tell you what's going on in your state. Because again, for Alabama, I could do my classes online and get my certification done within 6 months, which is what I'm working on. So there'll be 3 people in my household, in my family, that will have their certification as farm managers. Now, the business, when my family decided to start a business, we started in August of 2021. So our 1 year of our family business will be August of this, not 2021, 2022, will be August of 2023. So that'd be 1 year of, because they want you to have been a manager within the last 10 years. And so the businesses that I used to have, I stopped in 2011. And then my husband, he used to be in animal husbandry, but he stopped in 2011 also due to injury. He was injured, and I stopped my business. I got sick around the same time he got injured. So our experience is not current enough. So that's why we had to go back and take these classes so that we can justify our ability to manage this farm. Okay, but we'll be done in 6 months and ready to roll. And then my kids, I was like, take a couple, like one of my kids, I got them getting certified in project management. And it was something else. I had a couple of other ones, and then because they're going to get ready, a couple of them getting ready to graduate. I'm like, take a couple of classes in this and take a couple of classes in that, planting seeds. I can do that. That's right. And here's the thing: you can plant seeds, and maybe you probably can plant seeds. And like I said, if you take the farm management class is really interesting, because right now I just did a class on insecticides and pesticides. Now they do that online, but they say they want you to come in person so you can actually they can show you hands on how you're supposed to store and handle because actually an insecticide is a form of a pesticide. So people use those names interchangeably, but they're different. Pesticide covers everything. So pesticides will be for all pests, rodents and everything. Insecticides obviously pertain to insects. So you kind of learning all these different terminologies, and they turn telling you how to use these products and things and how to store them properly. Those are things that if you don't really necessarily think about, because you're a novice and you just have a backyard garden or something like that and you're really good at it. That's awesome. But think about the fact that you can actually turn your interest in just having your nice garden with maybe you're doing some greens right now, maybe you're just doing some tomatoes, maybe you just really have beautiful flowers. That's a farm too. Flowers are farming. Maybe you just have cucumbers or something like that you're growing and you're really good at it. You can turn that into a farming business. Yes, you can. And if you don't want to be doing the whole thing as a business, maybe you're looking in the future for your retirement and you want to do a management where you're willing to hire people to work under you to actually run your farm, and you do it as a business and you're preparing for your retirement. But you're actually, because they have the concept is also that you may have students coming in from maybe the grammar school or the local high school that are coming in and getting a hands-on opportunity to see how your farm works, or maybe just to come pick some cherries or strawberries, whatever you got, so it's just different. I'm trying to get y'all to think outside the box and use some of this money, because if we don't use this money, this is what I've learned about federal money. This is what I learned about all government money that's been set aside for programs. Do y'all know, if we don't use the money that's been set aside for these programs that's supposed to come to us, then oftentimes the legislators can use them at their discretion for other purposes. And then they get to use them how they want to, like slush funds. I have literally, now there's some governors that I have, when I was in Chicago, when I lived in Chicago, in the state of Illinois, I know of 2 governors. I won't say their names, but I know of 2 specifically. They knew that there are people who write bills, legislators who write bills for the intent of giving funding to certain communities. But those legislators don't always make sure that the government agencies are creating the offices to give that money out. The money has to be distributed to the community. That's where our government tends to fail us, because they don't have government oversight, which I used to do that too. Government oversight for the money to make sure that the money goes to where it's supposed to go. So if we don't go get the money or make sure that the money comes to us, then the money can, if the money sits over a certain period of time, then the different government overseers, so say it's a governor, The governor knows that I was supposed to create a fund to give small businesses 50, and this is a real grant, small businesses $50,000 for discretionary money for them to pay their bills. And this is real money. This is a real grant that was supposed to go to small business, and it's still supposed to be active in the state of Illinois right now. And the Department of Treasury is supposed to be the ones that's running this program. It was with the state of Illinois Department of Economic Commerce and Opportunities, and they never did create the government office to fund that program. They never did create the office. And so what happened was the money went from there to the treasurer's office. And did it ever get done? I don't know, because I left Chicago when it was supposed to be happening. So I left and I don't know what happened. But what I do know this, that money was supposed to be funded off of the taxes that they were getting off the license plates, stickers for the cars, right? So that means it was, and it's still there, and the money is still coming in. But if they never create the office to make sure that the money gets distributed to the small businesses, up to $50,000 is what those businesses are supposed to be able to get. If they never create the office to make sure you get the money, then the governor can come back and get that money as discretionary money and use it however they want to. And guess what? That's what the governors were doing every year. Every year. So that's what happens to money that's supposed to come to us. So I tell people about money that's supposed to come into our community. If you look at my page, most of the time I'm telling you about government money. And I don't care what nobody says to me or thinks about me telling you about this money. I don't care if they think that we shouldn't be getting it. I don't care if they think that low income people don't deserve it. I don't care what people think about what we should or should not be getting. And low income does not mean broke income. Low income means I don't make $400,000 or I don't make $250,000. Okay, so you have to start thinking outside the box. And if you just ignore opportunities when they present themselves, and know this, most of the time, like I have people who come to me and ask me about grants and grants that they might be interested in. Well, they might find out about a grant, and the grant application is due April 1st, and this is March 10th, whatever today is. What is today's date? Because I got a bill I got to pay. 9th. Today is March 9th. So you telling me March 9th that you found a grant that's due March 1st, and it's a 90-page grant. You have to have all your accounting information. You have to have your contractors. You have to have all your memorandum of understanding with other organizations that you have created relationships with. You have to know where you're going to run your program, how many people are going to be in the program, who's going to be managing what areas of your program, and you have to make sure that your program fits the guidelines of the grant. Who's going to manage the money after the grant comes? Have you worked? All those things have to be worked out, and you have to prove on paper that you've worked all those things out. And you're telling me that you found this grant that's due April 1st, and you're going to be able to do that between March 9th and April 1st. I don't want to have nothing to do with that grant. I'm not doing nothing with you with that grant because I don't have time to help you with that. I don't even have time to help you with the concept because I know you don't know what you're doing coming to me with a grant that you only got 3 weeks to get done. That being said, I'm saying all that to say that grant is going to come up again next year. So what you do is you try to find out more about the grant. You ask for Freedom of Information Act information. Find out who got funded. What did their grant look like? How can your grant really fit this grant? Sit down and talk to the funders. Find out what they're looking for. Educate yourself, okay? So I'm telling you guys about a program that you may or may not be able to get. If I tell you about housing and you say, I don't have the credit, I can't do that. Don't just X yourself out of an opportunity, y'all. Open up your mind to the idea that if I get ready today, if I do what I need to do today for tomorrow, because tomorrow, we can let tomorrow take care of itself, or we can recognize that God is revealing something to us, and perhaps it's in preparation for a better opportunity. But if you had done 2 years ago what you need to do today, you'd be ready to make a move today. So I'm telling you something today that you may not be able to use today. Find out what you can learn, and then learn what you need to know. And what is success? Success is when preparation meets opportunity. So when the opportunity comes to you, you're ready for it. Okay? So I'm telling y'all about USDA money. And the reason I'm telling y'all about that is because People, we have been in a rat race trying to live in these big cities, paying all these high rate mortgages, taxes. They don't just tax you on your house. They don't just tax you on the cost of your goods. They taxing you on everything. It's not just the taxes. They tax you on your license plates. They taxing you on red light violations. They taxing you if you walk across the street wrong. Most of us still believe we can't build credit. I'm doing it slowly but surely. And I hate bills. That's right. You can't. It is doable to build credit, y'all. It sure is. And like I said, I don't know if you caught this or not, sis, but I've learned. My family, we work together. My son, I think one of my oldest son, I think his credit score is like, every time I look at, baby, what's your credit score? 645. What is it? 675. I don't think his credit score been over 680 in the last year and a half. I'm like, why you can't get over 680? So I just said, okay, I opened up a new credit card. I said, okay, this credit card is a $7,000 limit. I'm only going to use it to pay a gas bill. I'm going to send the money back to it right after I pay the gas bill. I'll make him authorized user on that card. Now, that should be enough to help him bump that score up enough points to give him a boost that he needs to get that score up. Because I want to see, try to get him above his 700. But it's whatever we got to do to help us get to where we need to for our family. That's what we do. We worked our stuff together. Like I was telling y'all, my younger kids, when one child went to college, he got his college credit card, and he had two brothers behind him that were, because you had to be at least 15 in order for your child to be authorized user on the card, especially for the Discover card. They let up to 5 people be on there. I put your two brothers on there. And then those two brothers, when they went to college, they got their credit cards. They already had credit scores. As soon as they turned 18, their credit scores were already 700 and something when they turned 18. So I say, you come out of college, you graduate from college with good credit. They understood, I got to have good credit. And guess what? That's what made us start the business, because they all said, we going to school and we're taking, I got, like I said, 3 majors that are in business, and one is architecture. And my other son, they always make him a supervisor or a manager at some business. He was like, Mom, I'm tired of working for other people. These people driving me crazy. And now people don't want to do what they're doing. I'm learning all these skills about leadership. I want to do my own thing. So that's why we started family businesses. So the next family business is this farm. Y'all, I'm telling you guys, I'm sharing the process. I'm going to go through each step. So the first step is the farm management classes that we're taking. Each state has a way for you to take the farm management class. And the reason that they did this, the federal government said, we don't want to just give people money for the next generation farmers. It's up to $300,000 they give you for the farms. And you have to find the land, of course, and you start the farm. So again, that's just for the land and the farm and the equipment and stuff. Then they have another loan that you can get for your farm laborers to come and work your doggone farm. Now think about this. Now I'm not going to tell y'all my whole vision for the farm laborers, but I'll tell you this part of it. What about Joe Schmo, who having a hard time finding a job? He out there and he need a place to stay, and he needs a job. Your nephew, who seems like he can't never get it right, he needs a place. Your nephew who giving your sister a hard time and you sick of it, and you got a farm, and you create housing that you get the loan to get the house or the apartment building or get the multi-level. And guess what? They don't have to live on the farm. They got this farm loan thing is so good, y'all. Let me tell y'all, this farm labor grant loan that they give you is a 1% loan too, and they pay their rent. That's what's so good about it. They will let you go get a building, fix the building up, put your farm laborers in there, and pay their rent for them, for you to take your farm laborers back to your farm and go to work. You can't get Pookie a place to stay. Now, I'm just saying Pookie because, TikTok don't want you to say too much crazy stuff. You can't give Pookie or Jimbo or whoever watching me. Y'all know y'all cousins' names, who y'all giving the heart, who get your heart, the ones you gave the nickname to. You can't give them a place to stay and a job on the farm. I'm just saying. So right now, I'm not gonna say nobody. I'm just saying. So this is on a farm. What can it hurt you? What can it hurt you on the farm? Now, think about what kind of farming can you do. They're all over the country. Like somebody said, TikTok. I don't know about like me. I couldn't do insect farming, but there are insect farms. There are things that you can do all year long. I am going to do at least one greenhouse now. The greenhouse I want to do is going to be an all year round greenhouse because I want to put some place. I want to have some place to start my. I want to do seedlings. I don't want to just do seeds. I want to do seedlings. And so for the greenhouse, it'll be an all year a worm farm. You see what I'm saying? Think outside the box. Something that you can do all year. If you don't want to move out of your state and you're not in a state that's going to have warm weather for many, many, many months, what's something that you can do? Like a controlled environment, y'all. Have you ever heard of aqua farming? What about now you got to be careful if you do the fish tank. Now it was a lady that I saw who had a fish tank farm, and her fish tank farm, what she did was a mistake. She had her hoses connected to all her fish tanks. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna save you time. So when you get ready to fill your tanks up and drain them, you drain them and filling them up at the same time. But she had fish rot. Family help your one first make family business. There you go. And if you do it, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Say you decide you want to do a family business. I encourage you to do a family business. If you decide to do a family business and you don't know exactly what you want to do yet, just think of a family business in general. Say you want to do a farm. Go ahead, create a name for your family business, but don't give your family business a name specific to a type of business. Give your family business a general name, because you can create a general name for your family business, like ours is called Calvin Collective Company. It's general, right? And it's an LLC. But you don't have to if you don't want to, which we will eventually. But right now, because we're small, we don't have a bunch of companies under our family business. We have Calvin Collective LLC, and then we have Valiant Co. as our DBA. That's our business for our clothing retail that we have. And then the farm is going to have another name. And we haven't kind of honed in exactly on what the farm is going to be. But it's going to be under Calvin Collective LLC. I'm not doing another business yet because the clothing line didn't pick up as fast as we wanted it to. So I haven't figured out which one is going to actually be the one that's going to push the family over the top. But I am not getting ready to start a whole bunch of businesses and knock myself all crazy. I got a bank account set up. I got the phone number set up for the business. I got an address set up at the UPS store for the business. I am not getting ready to kill myself with a whole bunch of responsibilities. But you don't have to set up a whole bunch of businesses to do a bunch of businesses once you set up the business name. But don't set up the business name as for instance, if I had to say Calvin Collective Cosmetics, now I've forced myself into a cosmetic company, because how does a cosmetic company start a farm, But Calvin Collective is just a name. I can do anything I want to do under that name. A bunch of LLCs, I could just do whatever I want to do under that name. So I recommend it if you think you want to even start the concept of just doing a family business. Just do the EIN, get the family business started, write the vision out and make it plain. Start somewhere. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Me and my family started our business standing in the kitchen one day and saying, let's start a business. What do we want to do? I don't know. What you want to do? That's what we did one day. And I said, well, I kind of had an idea one day. I haven't done, because I had businesses before. I just hadn't done a business with my kids as they got grown. My kids were children when I started my businesses. So, and boycott Family Dollar. Right, whatever you gotta do. But so I'm just I try to get people to think outside the box. I try to get people to figure out how to make their money stretch and make wiser financial decisions based on resources and opportunities that are available to you. So I mean, it's some things that I don't like. I don't, for instance, use utility assistance programs. I could, some of them I qualify for sometimes. I just don't bother to go get in line for them because I can usually pay my light bill. But I don't recommend that you not do that. If you got time to go to the place and to get the application, I'll tell you when the money is coming out and how much it is. In fact, I probably should start doing that. I'll do TikToks on them when the money is coming out because that money runs out of money and then it replenishes. So I'll have to do better at like letting people know when that money is and what the income cap is, because you can make more money than you think to get those. There's some programs that will give you money to help you pay your utility bill if you had a sudden drop in income. So say like I have friends that work for Ford Motor Company. They make like $150,000 a year, but Ford is off for 2 weeks out of the year, and those 2 weeks that they're off, you can either you got to be off with no income, 2 weeks with no income, and no, it's a month. I don't know if it's a month or 2 weeks, whatever time you're off with no income. So it's a sudden drop in income. And some of the people will go and apply for unemployment during that time. I want to say it's a month. But anyway, during shutdown. So during shutdown, if you have a drop in income, so this program is available in Illinois. If you have a drop in income and it's a significant drop in income, they look at the last 30 days pay. So I think it's a month before it shuts down. And anyway, look at the last 30 days pay. And if you had a sudden drop, they will pay up to $1,000 of your utility bills. That was a program. I don't know if it's still going on, but that was a program in Chicago. So I had friends that had the plant shut down on them that was going to get that money, and they had income, but maybe they didn't plan well or they needed it or whatever, and they could prove that they had that quick drop in income and they were able to get their utility bills paid for that period of time. That was a program. So, and I don't follow that much stuff because I don't know if that was a national thing or if that was just for the state of Illinois, because I know you could take your utility bill to them and you would show them that this is your paycheck for the last 2 weeks. Boom, you get the money. There ain't nobody asking you what your check was for the previous. It was just a sudden drop in income and you can get the money. So those are things that I would tell people to. It's on that kind of stuff is on my page all the time. But this stuff with the USDA, with the housing funding and the farm and all that kind of stuff, this is not something that's going to go away. Now, one thing that did go away is the reason that I found the housing for the farm laborers, for the multifamily farm laborers. I found that housing because I was looking for housing for USDA low income housing, multifamily housing, because it kept saying closed. And I was like, they used to give you money to build new homes or multifamily homes for 5 units or more. 5 units or more. And I wanted to do a program. So I was like, I want to do that. And it kept saying closed. I was like, when is it going to open up? I called USDA. I was like, when are y'all going to open it back up? And it was like, probably never. And I was like, how y'all going to never do it? And people still need a place to live. And then I found the one for farm laborers. Boom. Just like that. Y'all, but I know that's God, because I be looking for stuff to help people, because that's my concept. My concept is, now this is what this satisfies. Now if you will open up your mind and your thought, if you have the ability to do this, if God has put it on your heart to help people, that's who puts it on my heart. If you're not a Christian, that does not mean that you don't have a heart for people. You do what you feel led to do. I'm not trying to push you into my belief system. This is what motivates me. Thank you, David Smith, for the roses. Oh, that's so sweet. So I'm not trying to motivate you to believe what I believe. This is just what I believe my God put on my heart. But whatever motivates you, if you're a person that likes to help people, then God bless you, or whatever motivates you. Okay, here we go. If you have the ability to do something, or if it's on your heart to do something to help people, This is a good program where you can actually, now let me tell you what it does in my community. I live, and I didn't even know it. I'm gonna tell y'all, I came, when I lived in Chicago, I lived in a community was supposed to be middle class, right? But for some reason, I always ended up helping low income minority communities. That's just what I did. That's just always, I didn't mean to. I just stumbled upon that, and that's just what I always did. So I started off helping people with their credit who were losing their homes during the mortgage bubble, 2008. They were losing their homes. I was helping people fix their credit so they can refinance their mortgages. And one of the mortgage companies saw that I was sending them a lot of mortgage people I was helping them fix their credit. And they asked me to create a business. They said, if you start a business and you help people with their credit and you charge them, get a brick and mortar, we will send clients to you. You send them back to us, because they were refinancing people. And they said, we will send them to you. You help them fix their credit, send them back to us. And after 6 months, they can refinance it to a lower interest rate. That was supposed to be the deal. That particular mortgage company got in trouble. Like, they were doing new mortgages and they were doing refinancing. The refinance department that was trying to work with me was really trying to do an honorable thing. But the mortgage department that had done those bad mortgages that got in trouble with everybody else, it was so many bad mortgages, the whole thing got shut down. And I cannot remember the name of that company. But that's how I started the nonprofit business, helping people fix their mortgage. That's how that got started. I've always had a heart for helping people. So that's what my page is all about, helping people. Now, the reason I'm doing the farm is because I live in a community by mistake. I moved to this community. I live in a upper middle class community, right? I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, citizen. I pray you get a chance to follow me again. I'm usually here on Thursday nights. I haven't been here in a while, but I'm coming back. Yes, this is a countrywide program for the USDA Farmers Program. And y'all only see me in a hotel because I'm traveling with my company. I work for the federal government on a federal study. Again, I'm always doing something for the community. But anyway, so for my community, I by mistake I just liked the house. My husband liked the house. We had a nice amount of land. This is on an acre of land. It's a nice home. It worked for our family. We have a guest house that my son lived. It just really was a nice situation for us. So it worked out big enough for our family. However, I ended up moving into a community that ended up being the low income community of this middle class community. I didn't even know. And I happened to be on the edge of it. So when my councilwoman invited me to a meeting to tell me some things that she wanted to do for the community, I went to the meeting and my jaw dropped, because I was like, I did not even know that this building or this community looked like that a few blocks away from my house. And I was like, how did this happen again? I am living in what's supposed to be an upper middle class area, and I end up in the low end community of the area. How did this happen again? I was in shock. I wasn't trying to get away from it per se. I just wanted to live in a place where I could raise my children and go to a good school in a good community. That's all I wanted. And my husband and I agreed this is how we wanted to live. We came from Chicago. We lived on the south side. You would hear sirens and gunshots almost it got to a point where you hear somebody shooting, you wouldn't even bother to call the police, because you figured the police was going to be coming soon. It was going to be police sirens or ambulance coming soon. I mean, it was that much shooting. And so we just wanted something so different. And so we moved someplace different. And so when she invited me to this thing, I said, oh, Jesus, how did I end up on the low end of a community again? And the low end was still, pretty decent. It's just I couldn't understand. I was in the ward with the low income people. And I was like, huh? Anyway, so what I realized is there is a low-income housing deficit in my community. And I was like, okay, I really don't want to get involved with this. I don't want to get involved with this. I don't want to try to fix this. I don't want to talk to nobody about this. I don't want. And all of a sudden, I stumbled upon. I said, you know what? When I found about the farming, I said, I don't want to do farming. I don't want to do farming in Alabama because I be done got something going, and these people be done saw what I'm doing, and then they trying to take it from me. I don't want to be bothered with nothing in Alabama. I just want to go in my corner, and I just want to do my job, and I want to just live below my means, and I don't want to make no money. I don't want to be rich no more, Lord Jesus. I just want to. That's it. I just want to be me. But, every time you get out, they get pulling you back in. So this time I was like, Lord, you pulling me into something. So my husband's like, here you go with your ideas again. And I was like, I can't help it. Like I said, one of my followers wanted to know about farming. I had looked into it a little bit. And next thing you know, I was like, okay, we don't have jobs. They don't have transportation in our community. They don't have sufficient low-income housing in our community. You tell me this. I live in a community that had low-income housing. I used to live in Chicago. I moved to Alabama 7 years ago. So my roots is from Chicago. I lived in Chicago 43 years. I was born and raised in Chicago. So my roots are in Chicago, but now I live in Alabama. And I didn't want to do anything in Alabama, but I can't help it because, my God calls me to do what I do. Anyway, so I said, okay, now here's the thing with the housing situation. I live in a community right now that if you looked at this community 25 years ago, it's been there. They incorporated, I think they incorporated in 1970 something. I'm 50. My house was built in 1950. So it must have been incorporated in 1950 something. It hasn't been incorporated very long, okay, my city that I live in. But the people who live there for generations. They've been there for a long time. And the community started to change. So when the community started to change, what happened was there are areas in Montgomery, Alabama that started to develop, and areas in surrounding communities that started to develop, and they developed really nicely, like big, beautiful homes, $300,000 to $500,000 homes, $1 million homes. The jobs started to change. They started to add sewer systems. You see fancy. When you come to my community, you got fancy cars. I mean, you're gonna see BMWs, Mercedes, all the fancy. People got good jobs. I mean, it's just that's how it is. But there's people who live in our community who were there before people like me. I don't drive those fancy cars because I like to live below my means. But it's other people who do. They lived there before those people. And those are the forgotten ones who live in my ward behind me. So when I went and I saw that they were there, I was shocked. Okay, see you later, David Smith. Love you. Thank you for the roses. I remember you gave them to me. I was shocked to see them. And I didn't know that they were there. And I started to realize, I said, so we came here. Thank you, baby. I see you giving me some more. I appreciate you so much. And that wasn't a hint, but I appreciate you. I was shocked to see that they were living there. And I said, so that means that we came into your community, developed your community, and made it our own, and then forgot about you. So now you don't have a place to stay. Don't let me get emotional, y'all, because I get emotional when I talk about helping people. So I said, so who's making sure y'all have a place to stay? This money is out there. Why is nobody trying to get this money to make sure that you have a place to stay? Then they don't have one. I was at the community center and it was people knocking on the door asking for potato chips from a previous event. They was hungry. Y'all, I didn't know I lived in this kind of community. That's why I feel bad. Because I was going to go in my little hole and work my job and live below my means and live in my nice little on my 1 acre with my family. And I saw somebody knocking on the door asking for some potato chips. And I was like, this is reminding me of Chicago. This reminded me of the people I used to help. And I couldn't do it. So when I found the farmers program, I said, if I start a farm and I create housing for these people, then I can give them a job on a farm. I can give them a decent place to stay, and the federal government can pay their rent. Now I created housing for these people whose community we came into and forgot about them. Lord help me. I'm trying not to cry. We came and we forgot about them. We walk over them like they don't live there because they live in the back. And then we have our homes and we don't see how they live, you know? So if you have a heart for your community or for making a difference, then you may want to consider. You can do this farming, you can create housing, and you can create a future for your own life and for the life of someone else. Okay? So I'm just trying to tell you how you can actually, and you can use federal money to do it. And I'll be doggone, I could care less about somebody who think I should not be able to get money to make a difference in somebody else's community that I came in and benefited from. So I know what my assignment is. I just did not expect that to be my assignment. And if you have a heart for it, so I don't mind helping people learn how to use federal money to get you a house so that you can have a nice house and a low interest rate and live below your means. I don't mind telling you how to get your college student, because I got 3 kids in college, and guess what? They still qualify for food stamps, but they're in college. That food stamp program they qualify for canceled this year, and they can get food stamps, I guess, for another year because they got their application in by February 10th for the new food stamps, and I made sure that people knew about that date. But my kids are getting ready to come out of college, and they can either go work for somebody else, or they can do what they all plan on doing. They all plan on working for the farm. And my architecture, he didn't know how he was going to help with the family business because all we was talking about was business. He didn't go to school for business. How do you apply for the grant? Okay, so this they do have a grant, but they have a grant and they have loans. It's just a combination of all different facets. So you do need to take the class. At least start off by taking the class. I don't know what state you in, so that's why I got my computer out so I can find out what state people are in, and I can tell y'all how to find the class for your state, because you need to have 3 years farming experience for the next generation farmers. They want you, if you're going to be a farm manager, if you have farm experience already, then you can become an actual farmer. But if you don't already have the farm experience, they want you to have it. So they have the classes you can take. It only takes 6 months to get a certification. And once you get that certification, that will cancel out 2 years of the 3 years experience that they want you to have. Okay. But you can have somebody that works for you for your company that also has management experience. So like I said, just think outside the box. Like for me, what I was going to do is, because I met a student who works for the University of Auburn, and she works in the agricultural department, and she does these freight, because I was going to do a freight farm. She's responsible for freight farming and aqua farming, right? And she's a 4th year college student. So I was going to hire her and a couple of other graduate students in agriculture to be advisors for my business that I was going to be able to show. Now, these kids have recent graduate degrees in farming, so that was going to satisfy that. And then I just needed to hire a manager who had managerial experience, so I was going to satisfy mine. But now my kids and I, like my oldest son, he's 30, he's taking a class for farm management. His girlfriend's taking the class for farm management. I'm taking it, and then my husband decided he wanted to take it too. So it'll be 4 of us taking the class will be certified as farm managers. So you want to get your certification, or you want to make sure you qualify. So first, learn about what is required. Okay. So let me make sure y'all know where to go. I'm going to get y'all the website on where to go, because it's going to be USDA Rural Development Next Generation Farmers. And they're going to tell you how to start this, to do it. So anything worth having is worth working for at least a little bit, right? You don't want to, you can't get government money and not know what you're going to do with it. You have to be able to appropriate the funds. So you want to know a little bit about what you're doing. That makes sense, right? Who sent 5 Oh, Tree Nanny, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate you. Love you. And if I missed anybody who sent the rose, because I was sitting up there trying to keep from crying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, God, did you do this to me? What did you do? You made me, I'm always helping people. And now you got me in this thing where I'm getting ready to be a farmer. Who'd have thunk it? I'm a city girl, a super city girl. You know, I used to run in the alley and play baseball. So let me go. I want to tell y'all exactly where to go. Because I want to tell y'all exactly where this website, where the government website is. USDA .gov, rural development. I want to tell y'all where to go to find your class. Because when I found it, I was like, who like, they don't like advertise this stuff, you know? They don't tell you. And that's the other thing. Like, I'm like looking for collaborations with government. Like, why don't y'all let me tell it? Because the government don't want to be on TikTok no more, but we still on here. So let me tell it. If you're not going to tell it, we need to know that this stuff is out here. We need to know that these programs exist. How do we know? If you want us to do farming or you want us to do these programs, you need people to run them. You can't run them. Let us know that they exist. There's a USDA. Come on. Oh, doggone it. I got to connect to them. See, I didn't even connect it to the to the hotel website. I'm like, why is this not working? I got to connect to the hotel website. But that's what you're going to be looking for. You're going to be looking for rural development, next generation farmers. And it's, like I said, up to $300,000 is the loan, 1% interest rate. Don't be afraid of the loan. This is why. They're not going to just give you the loan. They're going to make sure, let me see, let me get my last name. They're going to make sure you know what you're doing with this money, okay? And they're going to make sure you take these classes. And by the time you get the money, you're going to, you're going to know exactly what they're looking for you to do with the money. And you're going to know what to spend the money on. So, and one thing I've learned about, because I have a USDA loan for my house. And one thing I've learned about the direct loans that you get. Did you go to Dixon Elementary School near the Chatham area? I didn't, but my sister did. I don't know if you know, her name is Jasmine Holt. And she lived right across the street from Dixon. Yep, sure did. No, but I did. She lived right across the street from Dixon. Yeah, it was a girl who lived across the street from Dixon. Now you might be confusing her with me. We're probably she about a year or two older than me, and she probably looked like me. She's a little taller than me, but nope, didn't go there. I had the USDA loan, and what I found out about these direct loans from the USDA, they're not trying to get your money. They're not trying to get you like a bank. If you mess up, they'll try to foreclose and take your stuff, and it becomes part of their inventory. They can sell it and make money because and this is like something, y'all, if you don't know this about business, mortgages, businesses and mortgages and loans from banks and stuff like this, know this. The money that you get when you get a loan from mortgages and for mortgages and for business loans, things like those are just pieces of paper, especially if it's based off of real estate. Real estate loans and things like that are just pieces of paper. And your real estate can be worth something today that it's not worth tomorrow. It's just a number that they put on it based off of what they say it's possibly worth. Even a person's personal worth, net worth, is based off a projection. How does Kanye West lose $5 billion in a day for money he could not tangibly touch? Because it's just a number you put on somebody's head, say they're worth it, and now all of a sudden they can get loans off of it. Mortgages are just pieces of paper with a value that somebody put on it. They could be worth one thing today and something else tomorrow. So when you're dealing with banks, it's just a matter of your stuff being a part of their inventory and them not really vested in you. Now, I'm not saying the federal government is necessarily vested in you, but I am saying they're not necessarily trying to get your piece of property once they give you a loan. So if something does not go right with your farm, if your farm is not productive in a year, they're not trying to figure out how to take your farm from you. And that's why I like the USDA from that perspective. They will try to help you subsidize your farm so that you can continue to have a profit and pay and live and exist, as opposed to trying to take your farm from you. You understand? So that's why I like looking at, and I haven't had to use any subsidies from the federal government for any loans that I've ever had from them. But I like the fact that if I need it, it's there. I have my federal student loans for my children are all federal student loans. I'm not going to go to no bank for no student loan just because the interest rate might be a little lower or I don't have to pay certain fees. Why? Because if I run into a tight and I can't pay my student loan, I can negotiate with the federal government better than I can with a private lender. That's just me. So think about that. And this particular loan is a low interest loan for you to start. Oh, y'all, guess what? If you're willing to do a business in a rural area and it's not a farm, they got money for that too. I forgot to tell you that. They got loans for that too. I'm connected to the internet now. I can go to the page. They got loans for that too. It's really, y'all, I'm not kidding you. And I'm getting off of here at 11 o'clock because I got some work I got to send out before midnight for my job. And I always only do 2 hours. I do Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. I do 9 to 11. I haven't been on here in several weeks because I've been doing some traveling. And I did some leadership conferences at my church. And next Thursday, I don't even know if I'm going to be on. I probably will be on next Thursday because I'm not leaving until Friday. I might do next Thursday. Yeah, I'll do next Thursday, but I won't do the following Thursday. I may or may not be on the following Thursday. But I try to do Thursday nights, 9 to 11. This thing is so slow. I'm pretty sure I'm on. It says I'm on. I'm on the internet, but it's not connected. It's not connected to USDA. It's USDA.gov, rural development. If you're interested in the farmers, it's next generation. But I'm going to do TikToks. I will tell y'all, like, I'll make sure that y'all know I did make it back safely. And I got to go back again on the 25th to a wedding and the 26th to my pastor who's becoming bishop. His induction ceremony, and then he's actually turning our church over to another pastor that's been over our children's ministry for 20 years. He's going to be our senior pastor. So we have a multicultural church in Chicago. It's called Lighthouse Church of All Nations. My husband and I are the cyber pastor, so we're over the cyber ministry. So we're still a part of the ministry, and we run the online live stream services. So our services are streamed live on Sundays and Wednesdays, and my husband and I run that, and we run the chat, pray for people, and all that kind of stuff. And so the bishop, Pastor Dan Willis, he was pastor. He's going to be inducted as bishop by Benny Hinn. I think Benny Hinn's going to be doing the induction ceremony. And then he's passing the torch to the other pastor, Pastor Garland Mays is going to be the pastor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that church. It's in Alsip, Illinois, but they say Chicago, Illinois. It's Lighthouse Church of All Nations. It's real large. There's another Lighthouse Church in Chicago I just found out that's been there for 13 years. It's a really nice church, too. I like their pastor. But our church is 7,000 members. It's a large church. So I'll be there in Chicago at the end of this month. Then I'll go back in April with my job. I have to travel there for some training. So at my company, Isn't that funny? I moved to Alabama almost 9 years ago, and then I got a job with a company that's based out of Chicago. So I go back usually every year, except for during COVID, for training in Chicago. In Chicago. So this is a Chicago girl getting ready to do a farm. Y'all, I can't get my dog on internet to work. I'm so sorry. It says that I'm connected, but it ain't letting me on. USDA. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do Google and see if Google will open up. I wanted to tell y'all exactly the page to go to so y'all can get some more information on the farm. But I promise y'all, if you go to my page, I will do some. It's not working. I'll do some TikToks, and I'll tell y'all this is the farm information. This is because what it does is you put your state in, and it'll tell you where to go to take the free classes. And each state has their own classes. Yep. So if anybody has any questions, I tried to look and see USDA funding application.org. Oh, somebody went on and looked it up. Thank you, because I don't know why. Is this it or one? To buy land. Yep. So what I want y'all to do, though, that's the application. But what I want y'all to do is look for next generation farming if you haven't done farming yet. Now, look at it from this perspective, because you might say next generation farming. Because they really trying to get, like, so say you're a senior. Say you watching me and you 62. And you're like, that ain't next generation. That's current, And you want to do stuff like help younger people, your grandchildren, your some kids in the local school. Those are next generation farmers. So you might want to do a program where, like, what I want to do is I want to eventually have them come in and see, the whole germination process. Like I said, I want to do seedlings, maybe have primary kids come in. And you know how you, like, I remember when my kids were in kindergarten, the teacher used to do the little seeds in the plastic bag, and then you would see them grow into little buds or whatever. I wanted to have them come in and actually plant some of those and start the seedlings with us. And maybe I'll put their classroom and the name of their classroom in and invite them to come back and see how their seeds grow as part of their science class or something. Their teacher can come back and let them come back and see how their seeds that they actually planted grew in the greenhouse. So I'm going to do a greenhouse. So we definitely plan on doing some stuff with the students. Let's see. So, yep. Who is this? I'm loving you. Username child. You are so supportive. Thank you for your support. Still gave you, make sure you guys know CC Corner Chat. And somebody else went and looked, and 5 Ultra Nana looked up the application. You guys, I'm loving y'all. I'm loving y'all so much. And in Wisconsin, I'm not quite sure. Wisconsin is on here. Somebody's here in Maryland. Yes, these programs are all over the country. Arizona. If I could get online, I could tell you where. They have rural development loans all over the country. And y'all, some of these are grants, some of them are loans. So if you're interested in them, go to the USDA Rural Development website. Educate yourself. Send me questions if you want. If you go to my page, just click on the email, and my email is the same, cccornerchat@gmail.com. I do have some other email addresses, but that one is the easiest, so I just left it at that. So cccornerchat@gmail.com, or you can just click the button on my page. But please, if you need to reach out for something, in the meantime, like I said, I'm going to create the TikToks. I do have a lot of information on there about USDA home loans already. I encourage you to reach out to your local USDA office, give them a call, do an email search on USDA personnel, so you can get email addresses, because sometimes those people don't answer the telephone, but they will answer the email. I have found that's a really good way to get in touch with them. I'm telling y'all, I tell people, when you do the USDA application, there's a way for you to do it online. It's a little bit confusing if you do the home loan application online. With the USDA loans, there are two different kinds. There's a direct loan that you can get directly through the USDA if you're under certain income, and they have a form on there. It's like an interactive form on the USDA website, if you're interested in a home loan, for you to complete to figure out, would you qualify? And I always tell people, one thing that's really unique about everything USDA is they do household income. So if the person is in your household, whether they're going to be on your loan or not, they will include their income as part of your mortgage if you need to apply for a mortgage and you're concerned about your income. So if your grandmama is going to be living with you and your grandmama not going to be on a mortgage, your grandmama can still have her income on the household income. So if she gets a check for $1,200 a month and she's going to be living in that third bedroom, you can put her on there as a household income member who's going to be living in that third bedroom, but she's not going to be on a mortgage. So that means you're not going to be putting her, she's going to have to show her proof of income, she's going to have to show her bank statements, but she does not have to apply to be on a mortgage. I'm just giving y'all an example. But if that's what you need to be able to qualify for the mortgage, you can do that, okay? If you are a husband and wife couple and the one spouse has better credit than the other one, they will use both of the spouse's income, and they will let you just use one spouse for the actual credit. So that makes this a very unique program, because other programs, if you're going to use that spouse's income, they're going to make you use the spouse's credit. If you're going to use grandmama's income, they're going to make you use grandmama's credit in order for you to qualify for the mortgage. That's not how this mortgage works. So this USDA, and that's whether you go through a lender, which is called a guaranteed mortgage. With the guaranteed mortgage, if you go through a bank, you can qualify for more house. There's no cap on how much house you can qualify for if you go through a bank for the USDA loan. If you go through the USDA direct, that's where they can give you subsidies to help you qualify for the house if you don't make enough money. You can have it's not income driven. If you go through the USDA direct, and the income levels are relatively decent. So if it's a couple and your combined income is, I think it's like $130,000 combined, so that's pretty decent. I can't remember what it just depends on where you're at, because every area has its income cap for the direct loans, okay? But it's a pretty decent income cap for the direct loans. But so you can do the interactive USDA Rural Development Home Loan. You want to be on USDA.gov. You don't want to be on one of those little flaky, phony pages. And then, like I said, it has an interactive application that you can complete. It's not a real application, just kind of like a data entry kind of thing. You can put your stuff in. And I always tell people to go to USDA Rural Development maps, because the map is going to show you the map of the different areas that are eligible for the USDA home loans, but it also has that interactive qualification thing, and it'll let you put some information in there to help you determine whether you will qualify for a direct loan or if you have to go through a lender. Okay, but always look at these things as preparation for your next. I always tell people that everything on my page is to take you to your next level of opportunity. So that is, I believe God takes us from glory to glory to glory. If he brought you to my page, every step is ordered. If he brought you to my page, if you got some information, you got some good stuff, right? And if it ain't for you today, that's just like reading a good scripture. You may not get the full revelation today. You read it again, you be like, dog, I didn't even see that last time. Or or something will come to you like, I read that and look at this. This is something that I can apply today. So if it don't work for you today, if it's not for you today, it may be something that'll work for you another time. But go to my page. It's a bunch of stuff on there. If you ain't get nothing from USDA, farm loans, home loans, whatever, today, it's something on there that'll probably help you on my page for something else. Okay, so get what you can get, and I will give y'all more information. And I do talk a lot about credit. I help people with their credit. I always encourage people to try to do the right thing with your credit. Don't fall for those things where you just challenge everything or send those phony letters, because your credit score is going to end up going back bad. It's a phony. Those are phony things that you can do to get a temporary increase in your credit score, and then when it goes back bad, you be looking, like what happened. So I try to encourage people, just do the right thing at the beginning, and you ain't got to go through all that. But anyway, any other questions? Otherwise, I guess I am going to wrap this thing up. I done cried with y'all, laughed at y'all, baby bad with y'all, and I will be putting a whole bunch of stuff on my page about this farm thing moving forward. So, love y'all. Thank you for the roses and the likes and the sticking it out with me. I don't know who this. I wish I could figure out who this one person is. I'm gonna see if I see me made a comment, because she been really hanging in there with me. I see 5 Ultra Nana been hanging out, and thank you so much, 5 Ultra Nana. I see you been hanging out, and username child hanging out, and legendary Scopebridge. Yep. And let's see, Lisa Wilson. I don't know if you ever got your answer, because I wish I had known some more about your Chicago experience. You talking about Dixon, and here it is. Cicely Taylor from Ohio. I've been seeing your face for the longest, girl. You've been hanging out. You and 5 Ultra Nana. All right, Kendra, I'm getting off of here now, so giving in action. Hello, giving in action. So I am getting ready to get off of here. So y'all, I will be back on a Thursday of next week. But in the meantime, I will have a bunch of TikToks on here about USDA funding for. I will do some more on housing, but it's a lot on there about housing already. But I want y'all to know about this farm stuff. All right, so y'all can get ready, and we can have a bunch of farms out there, so we can start these farm businesses for people, and we can have our own businesses. We can blow it up. We got to use this government money, because if we don't, they're going to take it and spend it on other stuff. So we got to use it. Okay, y'all? All right, y'all. Love y'all. Take care. Be blessed and covered. I'm praying for y'all. Hopefully you praying for me. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. And it's ending.